Righto, today's little score. This was 20 bucks on Marketplace. Always dodgy buying stuff on Marketplace. It is a Canon UC6000 released in 1998 and also known as the ES180. It doesn't have a pop-out screen like the equivalent Sonys of the day or the more upmarket Sonys of the day. I had a Hitachi from the same era. So what have I got? I haven't opened this up yet. The guy assured me this was working. So, got a charge pack, which is good because the batteries will be stuffed. Got a cassette, no idea if there's anything in there. Got some gizmos in the top pocket. Another 8mm cassette. Now, why have I bought this piece of 27-year-old junk? Well, in short, I've got some old 8mm analog cassettes and I want to... Okay, dual voltage rechargeable power, that's useless. And I want to see what is on them, basically. So it looks like the other thing that I'm looking to find is the RF converter. It doesn't have one. So what do we get? We don't get a lot. What I'm looking for is I'm looking for some RCA outputs so that you can plug this into a television, and they all have them. I just have to work out where they are on this particular model. All over for this thing, looking for RCAs out, and there are none, but what there is it does say there audio video in out, and there's a little it'll be a three-way pin. Now I've got one from an old mini DV video camera. It's a Sony, not a Canon, but that's what they look like. So I'll plug this into a TV and see if I can get a picture out of this thing. And otherwise it'll be a head clean and see if we can get some transfers happening to digital so I can actually do something with these, some 25-year-old tapes that I've got lying around. Alright, so I've got this charge pack plugged in. Got this plugged in and press this in. It's easy to snap these off. Oh yeah, a little LED here. And looks like, now sometimes these clip off so you can actually see the screen. There you go, release. Beautiful. So there you go, you can see the little screen there. Just going to turn the lights off so you can see that a bit more clearly. Press play. Alright, got something happening here, but not certain. There's something on the picture, but not very clear. Try it very quickly in record mode. Oh, look at that. Hey, got ourselves a working camcorder. Okay, so the camera function works, the playback is dodgy, so let's see if we can clean these heads up and get this thing working. Giddy up, what a score. Righto, so I've got this plugged into a little 10-inch TV that I just have lying around, and basically I've got my Sony cord plugged in, and I seem to be getting a picture. It's not very bright. Ah, there we go. Look at that. There we go. Zoom in, zoom out. Autofocus seems to work. Unreal. So now I'll see if there's a tape in here. Okay, we've got something on the screen, which is a good start. So it's definitely playing. I can see the same flicker in the viewfinder here, but it is a very, very, very low quality picture. Sometimes it also helps to play these all the way forward and all the way back to make sure there's no tape stretch. But let's give these heads a clean and we'll see if we can improve this picture quality. But I've got a working Video 8. That is a great start. Okay, let's jump in and clean these heads. So I've got some trusty isopropyl alcohol, power this thing up, get that out, get the tape out. I'm going to unscrew the front door here just to give me a bit better access into the heads, the pinch rollers and the rest of the mechanism in there. I've also got some earbuds, Q-tips, whatever you want to call them. The first job is to get the pinch roller all clean, and you've got to remember that this stuff will probably dissolve the tape that you're working with in the tape mechanism. So when you have cleaned all this with a liberal dosing of IPA, you also have to let it dry. Okay, a little bit dirty, but not too bad actually. So got our heads down there. So that's what we're going to be trying to clean, those heads as they rotate. Now I'm going to go over this once. I've got one that is wet with IPA and the other that is dry. So I'm using one to clean and one to rotate. Now some people recommend using a paintbrush, a fine paintbrush for this job. And these Q-tips, earbuds, do leave thin fibres of cotton, so you do have to be a little bit careful of that. But I'm going to do a multi-pass approach, which means I'm going to clean it using this method, then I'll test it with I'll let it dry out, test it with a tape, and then try another method or try another pass of cleaning, and really not getting a lot of muck off that. A very good way to clean the heads is to get a little strip of paper about the width of your video head, and that's about right. And what you want to do is you want to be able to wrap this around the head, cover this in isopropyl alcohol, and gently rotate the drum underneath the bit of paper. Now, because it's so difficult to get in, I'm going to use some old, basically bits of skewer, and I'm going to make a little contraption to put in there and wrap around the head. So that's what we're trying to achieve, but this may be a little bit long, so I'm going to make that shorter and we'll try again. That's about 40mm long, and that looks like it is pretty good. I can get that pretty taut, so you can see in there as I go in, that is going to wrap over the top of the head, and I'll rotate the head and try and get any gunk off it. Now I'm just going to soak that in IPA so it's quite moist. Alright, got my little goalpost here, going to straddle like a strap over the heads. This is kind of, you need 3 hands for this, like that, and then with another Q-tip on the inside. Going to try and rotate these using it like a clutch, just trying to, I can feel I'm getting some good tension on that. I don't expect you'll see anything. Yeah, a little bit of crap on that. Anyway, let's fire this up, see if it works. Hey, look at that. Fantastic. 15th of October 2000, and there I am. So that's fantastic, guys. That head clean has absolutely restored this little video player, this little camera, this little UC6000 16x camera. Now I'll do a test and see if I can get some, see if it records tape. Alright, so I've just popped a cassette in. It doesn't have anything important on it. Flick that to record. And yep, you should be able to see what I'm seeing. Press record. Okay. Bit of a zoom in, get a bit of feedback there. Whoa! 1980s television. So this is also going to be an audio test. Just spin that around. Progressive zoom, so you can have gentle zoom or fast zoom. Autofocus seems to be working well. It does have manual focus. I've had a look at the manual, but I don't quite know how the manual focus works yet. But that's probably not so important. And this probably also has some sort of close focus. Maybe not. Oh, it's pretty good. Very close focus actually. Go back to videotape. Rewind. As Jeremy Clarkson would say, play the tape.
Play the tape.
So this is also going to be an audio test. Spin that around. Progressive zoom, so you can have gentle zoom. Probably 3 centimeters from the page. Alright, stop that. Alright guys, that is a winner. I've got myself, for 20 bucks, got myself a great working Video 8 camcorder. Perfect. Not very good cosmetically, but I'll see if I can clean that up with a little bit of abrasive toothpaste. That's a winner. Righto, so I'm figuring while we're here, we may as well do a deep dive into the feature set of this magnificent little technological device. So, well, let's turn the volume down so we don't get feedback. So, essentially, the good thing is you can do all this through the viewfinder, but that is very, very tedious. So let's do it just with the buttons. You can press menu, a bit tedious here, and you get all of these different little display options here. So you've got the buttons at the back that go up and down. So you can change your sensor. I'm not sure what that is. You can change the date display, continuous, auto for 10 seconds and off. It's got a title generator built in as well, continuous, 10 seconds and off. So if you press the menu button, you can go into change the date, change the title, and change these 2 custom keys. And anyway, let's get out of that. And then the functions for actually recording, which of course these days we all do in post, is you've got a fader. Just press and hold and it fades to black. And then it fades back out, so you can do fades in, and fade out. You've also got backlight. And you can see that just increases contrast. And that is about it. And if you go to manual focus there, you've got 2 buttons at the back, and you can focus far and focus near, so you can see that's fading in and fading out of focus there. So pretty basic. Press that again and that will pop back into autofocus. Not super snappy, but it does work. And last but not least, we'll flick up to camera. Should get a picture in a minute. Yeah, indeed we do. And we've got our mode dial select here. So we've got automatic, got sports mode, which is going to maximize shutter speed. We've got portrait mode. Got spotlight, which is going to be a center bias to exposure. And we've got sand and snow, I'm sorry. So not a huge amount of difference, very, very limited adaptability. So I'll flick that around, flick that back to spotlight. You can see that it adjusts for the highlights, sand and snow, portrait mode, probably puts a softening filter on it. Sports, maximises shutter speed, up to 1,000th of a second on this model, and then back to auto. And that is that. Okay, so I'll just spin that around so that I've got something to focus on. That's in automatic mode. Going to sports mode, maximise the shutter speed up to a maximum of 1,000th a second. Portrait mode, not sure if that adds a softening or a blur. Very difficult to see, no difference in the picture quality.
Spotlight will adjust for the highlights, just trying to do there. Sand and snow also changes to highlights. It actually makes it worse. I think in snowy conditions that would actually blow all your highlights out. Spotlight, portrait, sports and auto. And that is that. And that is the feature set of this 8mm power camcorder. What a beast. Very, very happy that this works.